Kevin Harvick says y'all need to get your together on the spotter stand on the radio after the finish where he almost caught Hamlin for the victory. Brett.
This is a weird scenario because the 10 and 22 were side by side racing one another when the leader caught them, and the leader was Denny Hamlin. And the 10 pushed the 22 up and gave Denny a lane to clear them both quickly.
In one corner.
And then when his own teammate caught him, they were 3 wide with a 4 on the bottom, and the 10 did not just let him have it. The 10 actually slowed the momentum of the 4 down.
It was backwards of how it should have been.
It was complete backwards of how it should have been. So I don't know what was relayed to Eric Almirola. I don't know what was relayed, obviously, to Joey Logano, because you have a teammate in the 10, and then you have a manufacturing teammate in the 22. So for those two guys to essentially,
were they racing?
They halted.
Probably.
They halted Kevin Harvick's ability to have a shot at the win. And that can't happen. I mean, it can happen, and it did happen, but if you're all aligned, and what I mean by aligned is you got Ford, then you've got management, then you've got spotter communication, then you've got driver. And if anywhere in there it's broken, you see what happens yesterday. And if they're aligned and Joel Edmonds says to the 10, you know, hey, Harvick's coming, man. He's only 3 back of this 11. It's for the win with 3 to go. I don't think you do what he did, because he let the first guy go and then he raced the second guy.
You don't have to do anything but just race the other guy and run your lane.
Run your line.
Let Kevin do what let Kevin handle it from there.
And they were already 2 wide. So, I would love to know if this was an Eric Almirola decision. I'd love to go back, and you guys have, I think, the ability to go listen to some of the in-car stuff. I don't have that. But I would love to know what he was told, and then us analyze what he did, because it sure looked like that he didn't do anything to help his teammate. He actually did something to hurt him.
I'm spot off, because I watched it on the front stretch off of 4, and I'm like, oh, this is going to get good. And then I seen what happened in 1, and I was like, damn, this is boring. But yeah, there was some drastic moves. And I get it, man. Some guys don't like to be a part of anything like that, but I don't know. I mean, every driver makes their own decision on it. I wanted to see Kevin get there and see what he would have done to make a good race, man. Whoever wins from there, I'm not a fan of going in there and just wrecking Denny. I wouldn't want to see that. I don't think Kevin would have done that. I think it was going to be a good race between 2 really good short track drivers.
So now you guys think the teammate should have helped him win? Because a couple weeks ago you said that was no good. The lap car should have just got the hell out of the way.
I just said they should have raced the race.
Well, I'm just saying, you guys are faulting the 10 for not helping, when 2 weeks ago you said the 4 did the wrong thing by helping his teammate win the race.
The 4 did do the wrong thing at a restrictor plate track.
Oh, okay.
He's 2 laps
He
down.
helped his teammate win the race. Now this week you guys are saying this teammate should have helped. Listen, the 10 should have helped him. The 10 should have stayed in the bottom, and Harvick would have gotten to his bumper and would have moved him, because I think he said in his post-race interview he had all intentions of getting to that 11's bumper and moving him out of the way, because like we talked about last week with Ross, that the win at all costs. You have to win a race, especially now. We've just talked about how many different winners you have. You're not going to be able to point your way in, I don't think. So, and if you do, there's only going to be 1, maybe 2 spots available. So if you have a shot at the guy's back bumper on the last lap, you're going to take it. And the 10 cost Kevin twice that opportunity. Once by moving out of the 11's way, and then the second time by staying on his door off of turn 2 and making sure Kevin had no run down the backstretch to even attempt to get to the 11's bumper. So we talked about it on here all the time, and I talked about it last week or whatever it was 2 weeks ago. Your job as the driver of the 10 is to make sure your car wins the race. Your second job as a driver of the 10 Stewart-Haas car is to make sure, or do everything you can to make sure a Stewart-Haas car wins the race. And they didn't do that yesterday. And like you talked about, whether or not that's an Eric decision, because obviously Eric doesn't have a long-term future there. This is his last season. Maybe he don't give a about helping Stewart-Haas.
I just think as a competitor in the field, you give the people who have earned the right to race for the win, the right to race for the win. And I thought Eric gave Denny that right. He got out of Denny's way, didn't hold him up any, but then he actually did the opposite to his teammate. And regardless of if it's his teammate or not, get the out of the way. These guys are racing for the win with 2 to go.
If you're going to do it for 1, you got to do it for the others.
If you're the spotter of the 4 car yesterday, and you're AJ's in the 10's position, or Buscher's in the 10's position, Are you not expecting the 10 to stay in the 11's way?
Maybe for a corner. But my job as a spotter is to tell the 10 what's coming. And all right, here comes Denny. He's leading. He's clear by 3 to Kevin, our teammate. 2 to go. Whatever the hell. I'm gonna paint the exact picture of what's going on. And again, the driver make his decision, because obviously we can't say, "Oh, you need to screw the 11 right here."
Yeah, I did it. I did it yesterday. Well, the 24 was leading. This is earlier, maybe 100 to go, 150 to go, something like that. 24 was leading. Denny was about 10 back, and we were on a little fresher tire than Williams, so I knew he wasn't just going to be able to buzz by us. And we actually ended up driving away from him. But I painted the picture to Bubba. I said, 5 back to the 24, and he's got 10 to the 11 for the lead. And that tells Bubba,
I'll get out of
that either you just have the decision to hold him up and maybe help Denny, or you just get out of the way and do it. But eventually we drove off, so it didn't matter. But
at Richmond, it's really easy just to give a guy the bottom and race him on exit one time,
and it's probably a half a second.
Honestly, that's not anything really malicious either. You know what I mean? That's just racing short track. Of course, you can let a guy. Denny gets there, lets him clear him in the middle of the corner so Denny can use the racetrack on exit if he needs to and gain a little bit of time. But I still don't like John Hunter wedging himself in there as a lap truck and being a part of the finish like that. I don't like that, but